Finally, Jack O'Trays has come back from Houston. What's going on, everybody? Jack O'Trays here, doing it all for every last one of you from the H-Town. You know what's going down. Happy Dallas loss week. Happy Philadelphia Eagle week. Happy bye week. Happy week just in general. Now, there are some things that we obviously are all concerned with, especially with the trade deadline coming to an end. No one's made any moves. This trade deadline has basically been a dud. Now, some of us knew that we weren't necessarily going to be buyers, or some of us felt like we weren't going to be sellers. I don't know if anybody saw that we weren't going to do anything. But honestly, are we that surprised that we didn't do anything at the trade deadline? First of all, we're in cap hell. We can't get rid of the players that we wanted to get rid of. Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz, JJ Arcega-Whiteside. I think Howie Roseman has put us in a very bad situation. Now, I wanted to get on here because I wanted to talk about some of the woes and the issues that we need to overcome during this bye week in order for us to continue to win. Now, regardless of where you feel like we should be in the point in time in this season, some of us may feel like we should be tanking to get a high draft pick. Some of us feel like we should be tanking to see that Jeffrey Lurie needs to make a change. Get some people out of here. Regardless of where you are, these are some of the key things that need to change, because if I'm gonna be honest, I know that you are. I'm pretty worried. Number one, from the top down to the bottom, the number one word, and I will continue to harp on it, that needs to get planted in the hearts of everybody in that locker room and in the office is humility. Humility coming from the top all the way down. Howie Roseman. Listen, this should be showing Howie Roseman just how bad he is at talent evaluation, at scouting, the draft picks. I think that there needs to be some sort of wake-up call during this week, because guess what? Now, nobody wants to trade with him. Nobody wants to give him anything. And you know what I think? I think Howie Roseman was walking around very cocky after that Super Bowl. I think Howie Roseman was walking around extremely cocky with the chest held high after the Super Bowl. I feel like that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Other general managers rubbed them the wrong way, because we all know that Howie Roseman thinks that he's outsmarting everyone, and he's really not, because look where we are. You got people fighting for their contract, fighting with the head coach. It seems like the whole world is against Howie Roseman, and guess what? Yeah, we should be. We praise the man for free agent signing and trades. That's your thing. That's what you do. There hasn't been any trades made. Not for an offensive line, not for a linebacker, not for draft picks, getting some draft capital. And I think it's because nobody wants to trade with Howie Roseman. So the first person that needs to find this humility is him. Maybe I need to get rid of some of this responsibility. Maybe I don't need to focus on scouting. Maybe I don't need to focus on drafting and things like that. Howie Roseman has tasted the spotlight, and he wants to get a chance to taste it again. I'm not gonna lie, even watching the previous interviews with Howie Roseman and Doug Peterson after we won the Super Bowl, it kind of seemed like Doug Peterson always had to kind of step back, which brings me to the second person that needs this humility. I think that Doug Peterson can use a little bit of aggressiveness and a lot of humility. This is what I mean by that. Doug Peterson is such a player's coach. He is extremely passive, which means people like Carson Wentz can get away with still going through what he's going through after being 5 years into the league. 5 years as a starting QB. Not to mention, you were a first-round draft pick, the second pick in that first round. You shouldn't be going through some of this stuff. Simply just throwing the ball away should be the easiest thing to you now. But because he continues to use verbiage like, I am who I am, I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be, that to me is a representation not of Carson Wentz, but of Doug Peterson. I remember whenever I played football, we had fear. Let's take high school. I remember at high school, I had a coach named Coach Roberson. And Coach Roberson, man, he used to scare us into being good. I didn't start off that good of an athlete, but I was so afraid of messing up on the field, I became a great athlete and I became a really good football player because I was fearful of this man. I had all the respect. If I made a mistake and after he got done dealing with me, I didn't make that mistake anymore. I think Doug Peterson needs a little bit of Coach Robeson on the inside of him, but he also needs this level of humility. And what I mean by that is he needs to understand that he's not the best play caller, and that's okay. Yes, you can grow in play calling, but there comes a point in time where you just need to be the head coach, brother. You just need to be the head coach. Get somebody else to call the plays for you. Matter of fact, how about in that cohort, choose your best cohorter. Choose your best cohorter and say, hey, how about you just call the plays from here on out? Let's see where this goes. Then, number one, we wouldn't be looking at Doug Peterson in the wrong light. Number two, you would have to have the humility to give the praise to someone else when it's well deserved. Third person that needs this humility check is Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is a man of a gospel, and the gospel means the good news. And if y'all don't understand that, I don't have time to talk about those things, but let's just say it's the foundation in which Carson Wentz lives his life. The number one factor of the good news is humility. It's God humbling himself into the form of a human and then taking on the human's punishment even though it wasn't his fault. That's humility. The very foundation is humility. Carson Wentz needs a little bit of that humility and stop saying words like, I'm going to be myself, I ain't going to change, because we're not getting that. What we're hearing is, I ain't going to do nothing that y'all say. I'm all about me. You think you can do this to me? You think you can do this to me? You think you can do this to me? That's what I get from Carson Wentz. How about you say, I'm an improviser and I need to work on how well I improvise. I ain't gonna change for nobody. Yeah, I'm going to continue to be me. Yeah, it's all about me. That's what it comes off of. My number two thing that needs to change. We got to change how the way we rest these players. I believe that the athlete now is completely different from the athlete even 10 years ago when I was still playing football. I remember getting hurt and never wanting to come out of the game. We only have a sprinkle of that now. It's a mindset. We just are seeing a different generation of the athlete. I believe that not as many people are actually that injured in the room. I believe it's twofold. I believe some of it is Howie Roseman keeping people like Alshon Jeffrey out simply because he wants to be able to trade him. So he was saving him. Guess what? Backfired, buddy. And then I believe that there are other people who really is just in their mind. It's tough, which is why sports psychology is just very, very, very important. The athletes nowadays, they get to pick and choose when they get to play and when they don't. But I remember playing football, and I remember if I didn't play and if I was hurt, I really needed to be injured and hurt. But if I was a starter, that gave someone else the opportunity to take my job. And that's what this team doesn't have. They don't have a coach that will threaten their livelihood or threaten their job, at least as a starter, if they feel like that they can't perform and can't play. I bet if Doug Peterson said the next ball you don't throw out of bounds because you want to play hero, you're out. Jalen Hurts is in the game. I bet very quickly he will start throwing the ball out of bounds. I bet some of these old linemen, if they said, you know what, you don't play anymore, guess what? It's okay. Herbert's doing a great job. Even when you are healthy, he got your job. I bet people just saw all of a sudden they start getting healthy. They start doing the high knees. They start doing stuff like that. I think it's a mindset, but we do have to make sure that we're understanding every person's body, but we have to change the way that we are doing rehab. Something has to give. I don't know, but something has to give. My number three, Jim Schwartz has to take a hard look in the mirror and begin to tuning his defense. Honestly, his defense has been shown there was a weakness in this last game. He gets clouded by the defensive line's ability to get to the quarterback, and so you kind of forget all of the bad plays. But if y'all remember, in this past game against the Dallas Cowboys, they ran the ball in our wide nine set like crazy. And that's the weakness of this defense. If you run the ball right up the middle, because guess what? Because they rotate their defensive linemen, Fletcher Cox isn't always going to be there to show his superhuman strength and stuff the run. Keep pounding it up the middle. Malik Jackson is a pass rusher. Javon Hargrave is a pass rusher. And then the people on the ends like Brandon Graham, who's really, really good. He can stop the run and the pass, but still, you only got one of those. It'll be really hard to stop this running game against any team with our wide 9 set, especially if Nate Gary comes back, which God, please no. TJ Edwards had like 12 plus tackles and he made a lot of plays. If he didn't solidify his starting position, I don't know who did. Sean Bradley should be in there. Davion Taylor in the passing sets, use his speed. Do something, man. Jim Schwartz needs to fine-tune some things and see how he can make this defense work for the betterment of the entire team. I'm a little bit worried. I won't lie to you. I'm hoping these changes get made from the inside out. Nobody knows except for them. And I'm hoping that no one comes back with COVID. Please don't make us sing. Please don't tell us, oh, this person has COVID now. That person has COVID now. We just don't I can't take it. Anyway, that's all the time that I have today. Those are my key things that I feel like needs to change within this Philadelphia Eagles organization in order for us to see more success in the second half of the season. Now, if you are new, like, share, and subscribe. Invite me into this community. And with that being said, Jacko Trey signing out, man. See you.